Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are tackling a hard problem called Longest Balanced Subarray II. This is one of those problems where the definition is simple but efficiently solving it is pretty tricky. We're going to break down the prefix sum plus segment tree approach, which is a really powerful technique for these kinds of subarray problems. Let's get started. First, let's understand what we're being asked to do. We are given a list of integers called nums. We need to find the length of the longest subarray that is balanced. So what does balanced mean here? It means the number of distinct even numbers inside that subarray is exactly equal to the number of distinct odd numbers. The key word here is distinct. If the number 2 appears 5 times, it still only counts as one distinct even number. We need to return the length of the longest such subarray. Let's look at an example to make this concrete. Suppose our input list is 3, 2, 2, 5, 4. If we look at the entire array, what distinct numbers do we have? For odd numbers, we have 3 and 5. That's 2 distinct odds. For even numbers, we have 2, another 2, and 4. Since we only care about distinct values, our evens are just 2 and 4. That's a count of 2. Since we have 2 distinct odds and 2 distinct evens, the counts match. The whole array is balanced, so the answer is 5. Just a quick heads up. We'll be walking through the solution using Python, but don't worry if that's not your main language. I'll be showing the full code for other popular languages like Java, C++, and JavaScript towards the end of the video. The logic is exactly the same across all of them. So, how do we solve this? The editorial suggests a clever mix of prefix sums and a segment tree. First, think about balancing odds and evens. If we turn every distinct even number into a +1, and every distinct odd number into a -1, then a balanced subarray is just one where the sum is 0. Simple, right? But the distinct part makes it hard. A number like 2 should add +1 the first time we see it in a range, but if we see 2 again later in that same range, it shouldn't add anything more. We'll handle this by sliding a window and using a segment tree to add or remove the contribution of numbers as they enter or leave our distinct counting range. Before we get into the code, let's talk about the real reason people fail at LeetCode. It's not because they can't reverse a linked list, it's because they break their daily streak. I built my daily to-do specifically to solve this. You can set Solve Daily LeetCode as a routine task. This means it reminds you to complete your routine tasks every day. It's a dedicated system to force you to be consistent, which I also use to remind myself to upload these videos every day. If you're watching this channel, you're trying to improve, so this tool makes sure you actually show up to do it. I also want to be 100% transparent about how this app will grow. I am an indie developer, not a big corporation. I will never take away a free feature you already use. Core features like repeating tasks remain free forever. However, as I add new server-heavy features, they will be part of the premium plan to help cover the costs of running the app. Also, the price of premium will go up every time I ship a major new feature, so the best time to get involved is right now, while it's early. Check it out at the link in the description. Okay, we've talked about the big picture and the logic. Now let's see what this looks like as actual code. I'll put the full solution up on the screen first, and don't worry, after that, we'll walk through the most important sections together. Alright, here's the Python code for the approach. It's quite long because we have to implement a segment tree from scratch. Don't worry if it looks like a wall of text. The first half is just a standard segment tree template that supports range updates and range queries. The solution class at the bottom is where the specific logic for this problem lives. Let's break it down piece by piece. First, let's look at our helper structure. We need a segment tree. Why? Because we will be processing the array from left to right, and as we move our starting position, we need to update the scores for a whole range of future indices efficiently. We store the minimum and maximum value in each node. This is crucial because if we are looking for a 0, and the range of values in a node is from, say, 5 to 10, we know immediately that 0 isn't there, and we can skip it. This optimization is what makes the search fast. Before we start the main loop, we need a map of next occurrences. For every index I, we need to know, where does this number appear next? We call this next_OCC. We figure this out by scanning the list backwards. If we see a number, we record its position. The next time we see that same number moving left, the recorded position is its next occurrence. This is vital because a number's distinctness only lasts until it repeats. Next, we build the initial state of our segment tree. Imagine our balanced subarray starts at index 0. We walk through the list, keeping a running total. If we see a new distinct even number, we add 1. If we see a new distinct odd number, we subtract 1. We save these running totals into initial underscore vals and build our segment tree with them. Now, street query k tells us the balance of the subarray from 0 to k. Now for the core logic. We iterate through every possible starting position I. At each step, we ask the segment tree, what is the furthest index to the right, where the balance is 0? That index gives us a valid balanced subarray, starting at I. We update our answer if we find a longer one. Here is the tricky part. When we move our start from I to I+1, we are effectively removing the number at I from our window. That number contributed a +1 or -1 to the score. We need to remove that contribution, but only for the range where that specific instance of the number was counting as the distinct representative. That range is from I up to just before its next occurrence. So we perform a range update on the tree to subtract its value. It's always good to think about edge cases. What if we have only even numbers? Then our running sum will just keep increasing and never hit 0, so we correctly return length 0. What if we have duplicates like 2, 2, 2? Our next underscore occurrence logic handles this perfectly. The first 2 contributes to the sum only until the second 2 appears. When we move past the first 2, we remove its contribution, and the logic holds up. The segment tree approach is robust against these patterns. So how efficient is this? For time complexity, we have a loop that runs n times. Inside that loop, we do segment tree operations like updates and queries. Each of those operations takes logarithmic time, or log n, so the total time complexity is big O of n log n. For space, we need big O of n to store the segment tree and the arrays for next occurrences. This is efficient enough for typical competitive programming constraints. Alright, that covers the main solution in Python. As promised, for those of you who code in other languages, I'm about to show the full solutions for Java, C++, and JavaScript. I won't be breaking these down step by step, but the logic is identical to what we just discussed. Just pause the video on your language of choice to check it out. Alright, as promised, here is the full solution in Java. It uses the exact same logic, defining a segment tree node class and handling the updates similarly. You can pause the video here to take a closer look at the implementation details. Next up, here is the C++ version. We use a struct for the tree nodes and vectors for memory management. The logic flow is the same. Pre-compute next occurrences, build the tree, and then iterate with range updates. Feel free to pause and review. And finally, here is the solution in JavaScript. JavaScript can be a bit more verbose with class structures, but it follows the same pattern. Hopefully, seeing it in a few different languages helps solidify the concepts for you. So let's wrap it up. We learned 3 big things today. First, transforming distinct odds and evens into +1s and -1s turns a complex counting problem into a zero-sum subarray problem. Second, we saw how to handle the distinct constraint by limiting the effect of a number to the range before it repeats. And third, we used a segment tree to efficiently manage these updates as we slid our window across the array. It's a tough problem, but these patterns appear a lot in hard LeetCode questions. Also, if you're looking for even more LeetCode problems beyond the daily challenge, I've started a second channel called LeetCode Unlocked. It's where I'll be posting solutions to a ton of other problems, so if you're serious about your interview prep, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. Hope this LeetCode solution breakdown made sense. If it helped, give that like button a click, maybe subscribe for more, or drop a comment if you have questions. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you know straight away when I upload a video, because I upload videos daily. If you want to support the channel, a few people have asked how I plan my solutions. I'm a big fan of sketching out the logic and data structures on a tablet before I code. It really helps. I've put affiliate links in the description to the tablet I use and a few other good options. Using those links doesn't cost you anything extra but really helps me out. Or, if you're feeling generous, there's always the Boba Fund. Keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.